Thank you for tuning in to TalkWad.com, the world's fastest growing internet radio network. Please check out all the other great shows on www.talkwad.com.
Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Atom boys, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one terrible roar. We live in flame, or go down in flame. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. Over hill, over dell, we have hit the dusty trail, and those caissons go rolling along. Counter march right about, hear those wagon soldiers shout, while those caissons go rolling along. For it's high, high here in the field artillery. Call off your numbers, but it's strong. 2, 3, 4, and where we go, you will always know that those caissons are rolling along. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day, 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 day. Through our last night offshore, anchors away. Until we meet once more, here's wishing you a happy voyage home. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, I shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die, I Coast Guard, we are for you. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
Hey,
Ten Hut!
and
You're
it's
listening
Tuesday.
to MilitaryChatRadio.com.
It's Tuesday, and welcome to another edition of the Al Young Show. And today, we have some special guests with us. We have the VA. The Tampa VA is being represented today, and I have two gentlemen here who are going to enlighten you on a particular subject. I think it's going to be very interesting, and a lot of you need to learn about what's going to transpire today, because this will save a lot of time, a lot of travel, and actually it'll save you a lot of money, because if you're traveling from various points in the Florida area, it's costing you gas, and you know how expensive it is now. But the gentleman to my right, both gentlemen to my right, are going to explain My Healthy Vet to you. And My Healthy Vet is something that I got into a while back, and it will help you. I mean, it's grown, actually. When I first started it, it was just something that was there, and you could go on and check a few things here and there. But now, like everything with evolution, it has gone from its infancy to what it is now. And once a program is explained to you, you'll find out that, hey, this is the way to go. This will save you and give you a lot of information that you no longer have to come all the way down and go to the VA and check out certain things. You can do it online in the privacy of your own home and be as comfortable as you'd like to be. Okay? And today, what I'd like to start off by doing is introducing the main person over there in his particular field, and that's Mr. Robert Goose Gosselin. And go ahead.
Well, thank you, Al, and thank you for the opportunity to come here and talk about the VA and My Healthy Vet in particular. I've been there for about 4 years doing the same job in the My Healthy Vet program. Prior to that, I was in the military, in the Air Force for 23 years. I was a C-130 pilot, and that's kind of where the name Goose came from. The Goslin, a baby goose, is a gosling, so it's not a leap of faith to get to Goose from there. But just like in all things, all pilots have to have a call sign, and mine became Goose. And I want to differentiate between Top Gun and Goose. Goose in Top Gun was a navigator, and I'm not disparaging navigators, but I was the pilot, and of course I enjoyed my 23 years in the Air Force. Let me introduce you to my assistant, Josh Persbacher. And Josh?
Hi, how you doing? Yeah, I was in the Army for 6 years. I was deployed in 2010, part of OIF.
And where were you deployed to?
The Middle East, Iraq.
Okay. And how long did you stay there?
A year.
Okay. All right, go ahead. And it's still on you.
And Josh is still, Josh is kind of the epitome of the generation that is the social media generation. And this is what the My Healthy Vet program is all about. It's bringing the VA and medicine and access to your medical records and access to your caregivers and to your medical team into the 21st century. The My Healthy Vet program is an online program that can be used by veterans. That it's targeted towards getting veterans who receive their care at a VA facility. That's the target group. But in actuality, anybody can have a My Healthy Vet account.
Okay.
You don't have to necessarily be a veteran. You don't even have to be in the military. You can be a dependent. Your children can have one. Your spouses, your husbands, if they're not the veteran, can have one. And the reason that's a good idea to have that is that it's a place as a repository to keep all of your medical information. Of course, if you weren't a veteran getting care at a VA facility, you would have to self-enter it. But it's a wonderful place to put it because you could be on a trip. You could be on a cruise ship in the middle of the Mediterranean, have an incident where you have to be triaged at the emergency room, and instead of answering a million questions as to what meds are you on, what's the dosage, what any medical conditions we need to know of, you can actually bring up your account or have someone bring up your account, and they can take a look at all this stuff that you've entered there. For the veterans, it's obviously already entered there. But for the non-veteran, it's still there, and it's really a nice feature to have because it's accessible 24/7 anywhere in the world that you can get to the internet.
Okay, so that's saying now if I go away and I take my little trusty cell phone with me, and if I have an emergency or I just need to make an appointment or look up something or what have you, I can do it online.
You can do it online. You can do it from any computer. You can do it from your smartphone. Any way that you can get access to the internet provides you access to the My Healthy Vet program. Now, what would you use it for? The majority, until recently, the majority of our veterans used it to primarily order their medications.
Exactly. That's what I used it for.
Well, and as you know, it's a great way to do it. And I think I'm fairly typical of most people. I do not like picking up a telephone, having to get in the queue, and then when they say punch in the numbers, punch in all those prescription numbers, depending on how many meds you got.
Yeah.
And you miss one number, you have to start over. The My Healthy Vet program allows you to go into your My Healthy Vet account, go to the pharmacy section, pick up the refill option, and then all the meds are there, and all you have to do is click a box and hit submit, and you've reordered your medications. You can do it in a matter of minutes.
Listen, prior to that, I'm one of these guys that take a ton of medication, and if you ever see my list, it's sort of like a dictionary. Now, when I do go to My Healthy Vet, all I do is just go and and I order, and like you said, you press the submit button, and I pick out the different ones I need to get, and I press the submit button, and that page is done. Before, I was calling, and then like you said, you had to call up, you had to get to that particular, every time you do one, then it would ask you to start a new one, and that could take quite a while if you got a lot of medications. And then the other thing is, I like the convenience of just being able to look at all the medications that are there, and instead of trying to, get the different pill bottles to figure out which one am I going to order now. So it has its advantages, and like you said, with all the new things that are available to you, I think it's phenomenal. Actually, it's fantastic.
Well, not only that, not only can you order your medications, but we have another section of the pharmacy that has the medication history. So contained in there would be all the medications that you may have taken at one time but are not taking now, because you never know when you may have to revisit an issue, or an issue comes back up, and you can say, well, I was treated for that, and I used to take a medication for that, and you can't figure out what it was, but by having the My Healthy Vet account, you can go back and see what meds you were getting, and any doctor or provider would be able to take a look at that list and say, okay, this is the med for that, or this is a med for that. So they can actually see your history, not just the current medical medications that you're taking now.
Now, prior to that, the only way you could get that was to make an appointment to see a doctor.
That's right, and you had to go in and physically get there. Now, it's like any big hospital that you come to, you have to take time out of your day to get there, and once you get there, you have to figure out some place to park. We do have valet parking, but of course we've got so many people coming on a daily basis that parking does become a premium, and it does become an issue. Quite frankly, we have a brand new parking garage, which has really helped, but still you have to find a place and you have to get to the front, to the doctor's office and everything else. Now we have, as part of the My Healthy Vet program, we have the capability for you to send, and I'm going to qualify this, it's basically a secure email, and I don't want to. The term email implies something open over the internet. This is not an open over the internet where everybody can see it. It is medical. It is a media capability that you have, but it is secure, and I want to make sure that I emphasize the fact that it is secure, because you do everything in your My Healthy Vet account, and to get into your My Healthy Vet account to do these things, you must log in with a password that you create and a user ID that you create. So nobody else can get in there because you have the user ID and you have the password, so it's secure. But it's called secure messaging, and you can send a secure message to your doctor or providing team, healthcare team. And in that, you can ask for med refills. You can ask a medical question. You could ask them, hey, listen, I'm scheduled next Tuesday for an appointment at 3 o'clock, but I can't make that. I'd like to reschedule it and give them a date. What it does is it gets you off the telephone. You eliminate telephone tag, and because invariably, and you've gone through this, and I know I have, I call somebody and I leave a message. And they say they'll get back to you. Every time my wife will say, hey, run down to the store and get something, and I'm gone, and they say, well, while you were gone, so-and-so called. So now I have to go back and call them back.
Yeah, exactly.
This eliminates that telephone tag aspect of all of this, and especially in the medication part of it. Now, they have 72 business hours in which to respond to you, but our staff, and we've got the stats to prove it, they're doing it in 24 hours or less. They're responding to each one of these queries, these secure messages. And it's a wonderful thing, because it's no longer you passing a message to somebody and them interpreting what you said on the phone, because you now type it in just like an email and you send it. So it's your own words that the receiver of this message is reading, not somebody else's interpretation of what you said, but your own exact words. So it's a great feature, and you can use it from your smartphone. You could be out and about and say, oh, I need to do this, and you could just bring up the internet on your smartphone, access your account, open the secure messaging aspect of it, type up your message, hit send, and it's gone.
That saves so many steps. And considering the fact that we're all trying to look at saving money, you no longer have to go to the VA for so many things, because before this, all of that had to be done either by phone or in person. And now you can cut both of those steps out.
Well, another thing is I sit in one of the primary care clinics, and every day, without fail, a veteran will come in and say, I need to get a copy of my medication list, or I need to get a copy of my appointments. Well, appointments is another feature of the My Healthy Vet account that is available to the veteran. They can see 2 years' worth of appointments on their My Healthy Vet account. So they not only that, they can ask. We in the VA do a great job, in my opinion, of sending out the notification cards and reminding veterans, hey, you have an appointment. We do letters and we have cards that we send them. The My Healthy Vet account will also send them a reminder if the veteran chooses that option as part of the secure messaging capability. They'll actually give them a message on their email address that says, don't forget you have an appointment at the VA on such and such a date. So it's a great feature.
You know what? You can't beat that.
No, you really
how do you beat that? Because I'm the guy who needs all the messages all the time because I forget everything. If it wasn't for my wife, that was my personal secretary, I'd go crazy.
Well, I've found that as I've gotten older, and I have gotten older, that my memory is not nearly what it used to be, and anything I can use, any way I can get a reminder is going to help me because you forget things. But this is a great aspect. Another thing that I sit there, and they'll come in and they'll say, I need to get a copy of something out of my records. Well, up until this last January on the My Healthy Vet account, when we activated this feature, you had to come in, go down to release of information.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, as you know, you have to drop breadcrumbs so you can find your way back because it's down in the bottom floor of the VA. And basically, you took a number and you had to sit there in the lobby until it was your turn to go to the window, and then you had to explain what it was that you needed. Then they had to go research it, find it for you, and make a copy and bring it back. And basically, by the time you got out of there, your clothes were out of style because you've been in there so long.
Exactly.
So now what you can do is using your My Healthy Vet account, you have access to your medical records. You can go into your own medical records from the convenience of your home computer or your smartphone, and you can access your records, find what you want, download it to a PDF file, and then print it or save it to a disk.
But, I've seen all of these things, and, these things are amazing. And you know what? I see them, and I look at them, and I say, golly, this saves me so much trouble. Now, recently, I went down to release of records. And when I went down to release of records, like you said, I still had to take the number and everything because, only because I had to turn in a form. Now, whenever certain forms, you just got to turn it in.
Right.
But other than that, I've started learning to do everything from my computer. And, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, hey, I'm up doing my thing. So, yes. And, I enjoy it. I have a great time. And when I say I have a great time, anytime you can do anything at your own convenience, you love it.
Absolutely. And that was the whole idea behind the My Healthy Vet program, which has been in the VA system for a number of years as we've brought it on piecemeal. But now, with the advent on the January release, everything that we've always promised the veteran is available to them, the access to their medical records, their ability to see appointments. And I might add that eventually the ability to see their appointments will evolve into the capability for the veteran to actually change the appointment and make a new one themselves.
Well, they can do that now through secure messaging.
Well, you can do it now through secure messaging, but you wouldn't even have to go through secure messaging. You would actually just be able to go right to appointments and make the appointment and change the appointment yourself. So it's a great feature.
All right.
We really, in fact, when we queried veterans about 4 years ago to find out what was the number one thing you wanted to do, 87% said they wanted to be able to make appointments. That was the number one thing. The top 3 were secure messaging, make appointments, and order their medications. So, I mean, that's what they all wanted to do.
Yeah, well, excuse me. Just give me 1 second to introduce my co-host,
Yes.
Sergeant WP. She was at the VA, and she's due at her appointment now, and now she's joining us.
And I'm so glad, elated to have you guys join us. We talk so much about the VA, and we try to let our listeners know that we're not advocates of the VA, but we want to let them know how much the VA has been very helpful and how veterans can rely on the VA, use the system that's there in place for us so that they can better themselves and use the program to their advantage. So again, I really want to thank you guys for all you do for the veterans. And I have to say, My Healthy Vet, it's thumbs up. Thumbs up. Because the greatest thing we can do now is we can go back and look at our medical records and see, hey, I need this, or this needs to be in this place. So that's a good thing.
Well, it's a great thing, and I've had some testimonials of veterans who were away from. They were on a vacation. They were out visiting somebody. They had a problem. They went to the VA. They went to the local emergency room, and they said, "Well, I had an X-ray of that not too long ago." They say, "Well, I'd like to be able to see it." Well, now you can bring up your medical records, and you can not only see you'll be able to. Right now, as we talk today, they get the capability to see the report. In the release that's coming up in about 2 weeks, then the pictures will also be there. So the doctor would be able to actually see the actual X-ray, MRI, CAT scan, whatever it happens to be. Right now they get the report. You can see the report that says the X-ray showed this, or the CAT scan showed this, or the MRI showed this, and they can read that. And of course it's in doctorese, so it's in medical terminology, so another medical person can read it and understand it.
Right.
But soon, within the next release, they'll actually be able to see the picture. You could actually download the picture of the X-ray or whatever it is, and then give that to somebody. So that's coming.
I think that's awesome. Yeah. You know, I used to tease Al a lot and say modern technology, I just can't keep up because of the constant changes. But this is actually a great thing that is happening for us veterans.
Well, you know, the thing I'm kind of looking at is now, all of these changes came about is when they brought in, what was it, the blue button?
The blue button. President Obama, 3 years ago, I was out at a conference in Las Vegas, VHU conference, where all the VA was out there, and we were looking at all the technology changes.
Right.
And the president had announced at that time that we had the blue button. Now, the blue button, you're going to hear a lot of, the blue button is kind of terminology for a lot of things in the medical field, but the VA is kind of coined, we came up with a phrase for the blue button. And he said that we had it, and you'd be able to access your medical records. Well, we did. We had the blue button at that time, and that's what we use. It's called the Blue Button Download, and that's where the veteran goes in their medical records to the section that it's in. It's under their personal information, and they click on the blue button. They follow the prompts, and that's where there's a laundry list comes up, and they click, well, I'd like to see my immunizations. I'd like to see my vitals. I'd like to see the doctor's notes. I'd like to see radiology. Whatever it is they want to see, they check it. Excuse me. And then all that information comes up, and then they have the option of downloading it to a Word file or a PDF. They can do a lot of things with it. They can save it to a disk. They can do whatever they really need to do with it and give it to whomever needs to have it.
Now, Goose, you won't remember this, but I was one of those people who came to you, what was it, a year ago or something, in your office, and actually you sat down with me and you went over everything about My Healthy Vet, and what was it? I had to get a certification.
In-person authentication.
Yeah. So I had to get all of that. And he sat down, he explained the whole program and everything else to me. And when I was thinking about the VA, one day, see, I go to Foxtrot, and that's where his office is. And if you're sitting there in the waiting room, you can look over there and see him. And he's always doing something with someone. So the other day, a couple of weeks ago when I was there, I saw him, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go speak to him, because I know that every time I go to My Healthy Vet, that, you know, it just saves me so much time. And, you know, I'm saying this is something that people really need to know about, because this is a time saver. And then when you still go to medical records or anything else, you find a lot of people are still there. A lot of us still are waiting. I mean, if I didn't have to go, I would never be there. But it's just no one seems to, well, a lot of people do and a lot of people don't, but they don't know all the things that save them so much time. And My Healthy Vet is one of the biggest time savers. And you know what I look at is, listen, when you think about not having to get in your vehicle and drive to the VA, and you know, some of us who live in, let's say, the Brandon, Tampa area, it's no, you know, you say, okay, no big deal to a degree. But then when you live, where is it, way out into some of these places.
We have veterans that tell me all the time that it's an hour drive each way.
And then when you look at all of that, if I don't have to get in my car, spend the time, spend the gas, spend anything to do what I could do on my computer in 5 minutes, do you think I'd do it?
Well, I think a lot of veterans are still, it's like us old soldiers. We're not so easy to adapt to changes unless it's constantly reminding us that we need to. Now almost making it where it's mandatory. So we're not saying that My Healthy Vet is mandatory, but it's a change, and we're not
It's
so
necessary
apt to change.
change.
So
Yes,
we have
it
to
is.
constantly, and this is why, Al and I constantly remind our veterans that are listening to us via Skype, via email, or however they tune into us. We are constantly giving them information because we want them to adapt to change. Mm-hmm. It's like our old veterans that are used to getting a federal check. We have been beating them. It's like a dead horse in the head, and the horse died.
As of March.
Yeah, March 1st, the horse died.
But you know
we
what?
buried it.
Well, what we're looking at is guys like Josh. When they get out, their whole thing is, listen, I'm going to go to my smartphone. I'm going to go to my tablet, and I'm going to do what you guys are doing. Once you get in your vehicle and you drive all the way over there, I don't have to do that. And we want everyone to understand that this is available to you.
Yes.
And if you have any problems with it, there's personnel over at the VA who can help you. And here they are right here. I mean, and now you can see what his face looks like, so you don't have to be wondering. And he's over there in building, both of them are in building, what is that?
Trailer 83.
83.
And 129.
And you can't miss him, because if you go to the waiting room, he's right there. His door is open. You can't miss either one of them.
Well, we share your same need to get the word out to the veterans about the VA, not just the My Healthy Vet program,
right,
but the VA in general. And Josh, I know, has just recently completed his stint with the Guard. Isn't that right, Josh?
That's correct.
And tell me what you had. Some of your buddies said, "Well, I got to go." You relate the story you related to me about they were going to go get medical care someplace else, and you had to remind them about the VA. I think it was. You were talking about the benefits that they had that they didn't know anything about.
A lot of guys aren't familiar with the benefits at all. Primarily, like what they can do with GI Bill versus post 9/11. So it's just a lot of information's out there that I've had veterans talking to me, and they're still using the old GI Bill, but they're eligible for post 9/11, and they had no idea the differences or what was the advantage of switching over.
And what we try to do is we try to reach that population, and we really have a huge program going on to reach women veterans, because for so many years the VA, really was thought about as a male institution, and now we've got a new lady in charge, Pam Smith Beatty. We have over 6,400 female veterans now at the VA in Tampa.
Yeah. Just in Tampa.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And we're recruiting like crazy to try to get the women veterans to come in there. And when we get them in there, we want to talk to them about their benefits, but we kind of make the My Healthy Vet program as a centerpiece for them, so that we're trying to get veterans to take charge of their health care.
Yes.
And I think medicine in general, not just the VA, but civilian medicine, is wanting more personal involvement by the individuals, because in my generation, when I grew up, if the doctor said do it, you did it, and you really didn't even ask them why you were supposed to do it, because the doctor said do it, I'm going to do it. But what we want now is we want the interaction between the health provider, our PAC models, our patient aligned care teams, to interact with the patient, so that anytime you get an interaction, you're going to get a much better product. Right. And the My Healthy Vet program is kind of at the centerpiece of that, to get them to take charge of their health care by having access to their medical records. This is really a phenomenal thing for the first time that a patient has access to their medical records.
Yeah, and
it really is.
Because you don't have to go and ask somebody for it all the time and wait for them to get it to you.
And just think about if you need a copy. Oh, I need a copy of my medical records. Just think about that. How often you'll find a veteran that says, oh, I can't be bothered to go up there, and then you've got to wait on this long line, and you've got to take a number.
It's release of medical records, and there it is. This is released right at home. You don't have to worry about it. As a matter of fact, I'd like to just bring up a subject. I know we're going back a little bit on this, but our last guest was a female vet.
Oh, yes.
And she was suffering from post-traumatic stress and other things. And she, matter of fact, she is a trainer of dogs, and she was saying of a program that she had going. But she was saying that since she had been at the Tampa VA, that she got excellent care. And this wasn't something we had talked about prior to it, but I just decided to ask her, how's the care? And she was saying that when she, started with the people at the Tampa VA, that she gets really good care, and she was very happy with what was going on there. So, those kind of things are the things that we look for because, we want people to know what's out there. What's going on at Tampa VA, who are the people who can tell you about different programs and different things that are going on. And, My Healthy Vet is one of the main things that they need to know about because it's information. And to me, any information that you get, especially something so important as My Healthy Vet, only because look at all the wealth of information that you're getting. And you don't really have to go any further than your favorite comfortable chair at your desk or wherever it is that you deal with your smartphone, your computer, your tablet, whatever. And it's that easy. And I mean, I've kind of watched it grow. So I'm saying, hey, I was with it and it was good in the beginning and now it's even better, And it's sort of like a child. And you watch it as it's growing, and and it's just getting better and better and better, and the kids getting more knowledge. So My Healthy Vet is nothing that's one of those little programs where you go in and it's okay, I can get one or two items or I can do one or two things with it. It's really gotten to the point where, hey, it's such a time saver, and it's something where you don't have to interact with anyone other than yourself, actually.
Well, actually, we're going to make it even better. I thought we'd reached the pinnacle of the capabilities when we came out with the medical records. But sometime, hopefully this year, and they're not sure exactly when, but if you were in the military from 92 forward, not only are you going to have access to your VA medical records, you're going to have access to your DOD records through the My Healthy Vet program. Yep. They're going to be linked. So instead of having to send off a Twixt or a request to St. Louis where they keep the records, you will now have access to those military records as well.
You can't beat that.
I mean, that's great. That's technology at its best. It really is. So it's coming, and it's not like this is a future concept. This is something we've been working on for a long time, and we're working with DOD and we're working with e-benefits to eventually get to the point. And by the way things are headed for all the veterans who have heard the term e-benefits, eventually e-benefits in the not-too-distant future will be kind of the daddy rabbit, so to speak. It's going to be the program, and you'll have one log-on, one user ID, and that will take you into e-benefits, and in e-benefits will be My Healthy Vet and all of those other programs that are there. So it's like going into entering Walmart, just depending on which section I want to go to. You'll be able to just shop around in there, and it'll be one time.
I call Walmart. You gotta love Walmart. I call Walmart the one-stop shop. So I'm relating what he's saying to Walmart because if you go into e-benefits and you can go to My Healthy Vet and DOD, it's like the one-stop shop. Why do I need to go anywhere else when I can get everything at this one location?
And I think that helps veterans and anytime you can be there and give them something where they feel really comfortable. I mean, you've done your job.
Yes.
Right now I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a small break, and we'll be back. Okay. And we'll continue to, put out some great information for you, and we'll talk about a few other little things. Okay? Right. So right now we're going to go into our little break. Okay.
The West Central coast of Florida has an amazing music scene. Festivals, clubs, special performances, and there's always a lot of live music. The problem has always been getting the word out about events. Then GoTonight.com emerged on the scene. The brainstorm creation of founder Don McKeon, a Sarasota entrepreneur. We caught up with Don and his inspirational friend, Frank Papa, at the Flying Dog Cafe.
This is Frank. I'm Don. Frank is the reason that there is a Go Tonight. He would call me. He would call me repeatedly.
Where are we going? Where do you want to go? Where will we go tonight?
The website has been a boon to many small clubs. So next time you find yourself asking, where will we go tonight? You've got the answer. The west central coast of Florida has an amazing music scene. Festivals, clubs, special performances, and there's always a lot of live music. The problem has always been getting the word out about events. Then GoTonight.com emerged on the scene. The brainstorm creation of founder Don McKeon, a Sarasota entrepreneur. We caught up with Don and his inspirational friend, Frank Papa, at the Flying Dog.
Okay, and we're back.
You know, Al, I've always given this joke. I've got a dead horse to beat in the head. So I got a new one to beat in the head now because I'm recruiting female veterans to get on, come on in, join the program. Now I don't feel so alone. So now I have something to look forward to other than Al. Every week it's me and Al. Sometimes I wonder.
Well,
sometimes I wonder.
But, it's kind of good when you look at it. The one place that we've been trying to really get someone to see what we're doing is the VA. Mm-hmm. And now we have, we've had other guests, okay? And but this is something that I really wanted to get out to everyone. So now, when you're doing My Healthy Vet, okay, and let's say it's a new guy, and he's thinking about coming down to get into it. Well, how is he going to go about that?
Well, there's a website that you have to go to register, and it's the same website that you go to log into your account. And I'll give you that website. It's www.myhealth, which is all one word, .va.gov. And when you go there the first time, it takes you. There's instructions on that page that take you to the registration page if it's your first time.
Right.
Or there's another icon that'll take you to the home page where you would sign in if you already had an account. Okay. And it's that simple. And then once you get to the home page, you would go ahead and you would log into your account, and of course you can use everything. And I did want to embellish on one thing that you had mentioned earlier about the women. We have actually a women's center now where we have doctors dedicated with all the services that women require in the women's center. Yes. I mean, we've gone to the point of actually, we've gone to that from that feeling or that place of women kind of just being lumped in with everybody to the point where we now have a separate women's center that understands and caters to the specific and unique needs of our women veterans. And I wanted to make that point because we've taken a lot of time and effort to do that.
And I truly want to thank the VA because I kid you not, I was at the Women's Center this morning, and I do get that sense of importance and wanting to be there because it's like, this is for us women, not just going to the VA. And the VA has a stigma because for years, my cousin was in World War II, and for years it was like the men. You think of the VA, it's all men. Mm-hmm. Like back in the days, you think of the service. You're in the service, you're a woman. Yeah. Well, now I go to the VA and I go to the Women's Center, and I feel like a part of the group. I feel like this is where, they cater to us women and our needs, and they ensure that we get all the proper care that's needed. Now, so I really thank the VA.
I have a question then. So now when we have the Women's Center, now is this basically where most of the women are going to get all their appointments and they'll be going there instead of going to the different...
They have a choice.
Okay.
And we give them a choice.
Because I'm trying to understand exactly. I know you have the Women's Center and it's for women, but now will they also be going to different, let's say, groups like Foxtrot and
we have female veterans out of Foxtrot. It's the woman's choice. If they say I'd like to go to the Women's Center, then we place them in the Women's Center.
So if they're comfortable going to the Women's Center, then it's available to them. as something where, okay, here you've got your own area, and now you can feel comfortable instead of being lumped in with a bunch of guys.
And it's the same principle used with the My Healthy Vet. We're sitting here talking about the availability of the veteran to electronically do everything. But one of the points I want to make is we have in no way abdicated the right or the need for the veteran to go in for a face-to-face visit. We have never, ever advocated that. We would never get rid of that, because it's between the doctor and the patient. And if you feel that you need to go see your primary care physician or a specialist, then that is absolutely a choice you have to make. What we try to do for the veteran is to relieve those get rid of the unnecessary trips. And when we do that, the collateral benefit is that we open up face-to-face time for those veterans that really need to come or want to come face-to-face. So everybody wins, because we can free up that face-to-face time. And let's face it, when you go to any huge medical institution like that, time is a premium.
Yes.
So
Yes.
appointments are at a premium. So when you can get an appointment, if it's more available, because you can do these mundane things that you don't need to come in for, that we've been coming in for, med refills, lists of their appointments, things like that. We can do this on the internet. Then it opens up all that face-to-face time for those patients that really want to come in.
Well, you know what? I got the impression when I first started dealing with My Healthy Vet that this was for those guys who like smartphones and and everything else, and that you don't have to deal with making a move. That was the impression I got. I never got the impression that, hey, they're cutting services or anything. I always said, hey, gosh, this is great for me because I don't have to do certain things.
Right.
I don't have to spend my money. This is, if I want to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I go on my computer and I have ordered medications at 3 o'clock in the morning. Or if I've had an appointment and I couldn't remember exactly when it was, I can look it up real quick and find out what's going on. So to me, it's always been a convenience, something that, hey, great, I don't have to call up and I don't have to go through this. All I can do is take my time and, just go through whatever it is that I want to go through, do what I want to do, and it's over with. I turn off my computer, I go back to bed, and it's over. Oh, not back to bed, but whatever I'm doing.
Right.
But at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's where I'm going.
But again, I am not so computer savvy. So when you mention computer, I get a little nervous, like, oh my God, because I'm an old soldier. I really am. But the first time I signed on to My Healthy Vet, I was so scared because it's a change. Mind you, it's just me and the computer. I talk to the computer, it never talks back. So now I go on, and I didn't realize how easy it really was and so user-friendly that I was like, oh my God, this is too easy. And then I ordered medication like Al did, and I was, again, another change, because I'm used to going all the way up to the VA and speaking to my doctor, oh, I'm out of this and I'm out of that. Now I go on with the push of a button, and within a couple of days, it's in the mail. Ding dong.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the beauty of certain things. The VA, I guess, is like everybody else. They're keeping up with the time.
Yes.
And it's not a thing where, oh my God, man, these guys are like 15 years behind the ball, and they're not keeping up with what's going on, not demand. Remember, we got a lot of soldiers out there who are young people. And they're not in that generation where, I'm going to get in the car and go over and see my doctor personally. Everything we do, because I'm still young, everything we do.
You're how young, actually.
Yeah, exactly. That was the only part. Most people will catch on to. But the thing is, it's like, why do they have places like Amazon and all those online everything? So people don't have to make any moves except for using their computer. So if you are dealing with the VA or if you're dealing with anything, you want to be able to have that same convenience.
Yes.
And this makes it so much easier because these young guys and ladies, when they get out, their whole thing is give me what I'm used to having, and then that way I'm fine. Okay, if I can go online and do it, then I'm a happy camper. But if I got to go the old way and do everything, then I'm not, happy about that. It's an inconvenience for me. So this way, I can cut out so many steps in the process of getting the things that I need. If I want something for my medical records, I don't have to go down to medical records, sit there, pull a number, and wait in line, and then hopefully they'll get it to me or whatever. I can do it from home.
And not only that now, but we have the VA. We have Facebook. We've got Twitter. We've got a web page where you come, and we post all this information in various places like that. And we try to make it as obvious and make it as easy. We want one-click options for, if you have to navigate through a bunch of stuff, people are kind of, they get halfway through and say, this is too hard. So we try to make it as simple as possible for them. And if you go on our website and you look at our Twitter account or join us on Facebook, you're going to find a lot of stuff on there that is very informative and beneficial to the veteran. And we try to do that. And we're constantly coming up with things that we can think of to put on there to make it as easy as possible for the veteran.
Okay, could you give them that website?
Let me give you that website again for the My Healthy Vet. It's www.myhealth, again, one word, myhealth.va.gov.
Goose, why don't you go back into the sign-up process a little bit more?
The sign-up process is, it takes, depending on how literate you are in the computer, but if you just have basic skills, you can sign up in this process in about 12 to 15 minutes, I would estimate the average person that can sign up. And once you sign up, that gives you what we call the basic account. And that basic account lets you order your medications. Now, to be able to secure message, access your medical records, see your appointments, and see all those wellness reminders, we have to do what we call an in-person authentication, which means that the veteran actually has to physically present themselves to a clinician, to Josh or myself. We have it set up at the patient library on the second floor, and all the clerks in the primary care facilities on the main campus in Tampa, or the clerks at our C-Box or our Newport Richey Clinic, they can do the in-person authentication. And simply filling out a form, which is the same form you fill out when you go down to records and say, I need something on my records, except in this case, all you have to put your name, date of birth, and social, and sign the form. And
show ID.
And you show a picture ID. Now, that's going away. The in-person part of it is going away. And what they're going to start to do, and we're very close to this, because one of the biggest irritants, when we query the veterans all the time, one of the great things about the James Haley, and I have never worked anyplace else, so I can't tell you, but I know the VA in general does this. We not only, you have to have feedback from your patients to find out how you're doing. And if you don't have feedback, you don't know what you're doing well, and you don't know what you're doing poorly. So we're really into feedback, and so we query them all the time. But one of the things that they said about the My Healthy Vet program was it had all these great features, but it was really, if they came in, signed up, or went home and signed up, that means they had to make another trip if they didn't get in-person authenticated. So what they're doing is we're going to go to a virtual authentication, and that's in the works, and that's close, which means, and you may have run into this in some other civilian aspect, but they'll ask you a series of questions. They'll give you a question, for instance, which one of these addresses did you never live at? Or which one did, of course, they ask me that. I may never recognize it in the first place, but it is virtual is what I'm saying. Yes. And so you're able to do that instead of having to present yourself and have the physical part of it.
That's your bank. When you go online.
Right. The banks, yes, they're doing that. That's absolutely correct now. So we listen to the veteran. We're always listening to the veteran, and we put out opinion meters, and when I'm on the patient council, when we have veterans, we try to put veterans on all of our committees, because if you don't have, you got to have the user on the committee just so the user can say, well, that's not the way it's coming across, or that's not exactly how things are, so that we could tweak things and constantly make things better, because nothing stays static. It either goes forward or it goes backwards. So in this case, we're always trying to go forward because we're listening to what our patients are telling us, what our customers are telling us. And in My Healthy Vet program, we have a huge input from the veterans, and that everything we do is driven by queries to the patients and surveys to the patients as to what you'd like to see. Josh?
Checkbox. I was going to mention the patient checkbox in the name.
Oh, what Josh is talking about is that when you sign up, and it's two very important points, is that when you sign up on the registration form, you need to take out your veterans card, stick it down beside you, and however your name is on that veterans card, that is how you must enter it in the registration form.
Gotcha.
That's number one. That's extremely important. It's a showstopper if you don't do that, or it can be a showstopper. The other thing is, in the registration form, about halfway through it, you'll come to a block that says relationship to VA. And there's all kinds of things you can check in there, veteran, caregiver, employee. But there is another box in there that is paramount, and that is called VA patient. And the reason I mention it is because a lot of veterans will look at it and they'll say, well, I'm not a patient. They're thinking inpatient. So all it means is that you get your care to VA facility. So you must check VA patient. If your name is in there correctly, as on your veterans card, and you check VA patient, then everything is going to go very smoothly. You'll set up your account, we can authenticate you, and everything goes through, and then you have access to all those great features that we've been discussing all morning.
Now, you mentioned something a little earlier, and I kind of want a little clarification on that. You mentioned the fact that not only the veteran, but the dependents can also go on My Healthy Vet, right? But there's only, from what I'm gathering, maybe they can only go to a certain point, right?
It's a tiered program. You can have veterans who get care at a VA facility.
Right.
That's our target group. That's who the program was designed for. You can have veterans who don't go to the VA, and then you can have civilians. So anybody can. Just anybody. Anybody can have an account. And the reason, as I mentioned earlier, the reason you want an account is because it's a wonderful place to go. If you think about it, if you went to a civilian, they always tell you every time you go to the doctor's office, bring a copy of your medications, or bring your medications with you, or at least a list of them. If you have a My Healthy Vet account, everything is listed right in there. You have to self-enter them if you're not the veteran getting care at a VA facility, but it's a wonderful repository to keep it because you have access to it anywhere in the world that you can get to the internet 24/7, and it's free. It doesn't cost a penny, not one penny.
I have a question for you. So what and how does the veteran who doesn't normally come to the VA, they might have a primary care outside the VA, how do they get their medical records to be grouped with My Healthy Vet?
Integrated into
right now, I think eventually, if the current administration has indicated that they would like eventually to have one national database that everybody can tap into, and right now there's databases out there. They don't all talk to each other.
Right.
So we're at that particular stage right now. We have the VA database, and let's say you come to the VA once a year. We have veterans that come to keep the accounts open, but they have other they have a primary care physician, say, outside the VA.
Yes.
Eventually, what we hope to do on a national level is to link all of these healthcare systems together, so that you could see a physician could see any record of any patient anywhere, irregardless of what healthcare system they're in. But that's not here yet.
Okay.
But in the VA, if you have a My Healthy Vet account, or if you're in the VA system, you can go to any VA anywhere and they can see your records. So that linkage is there.
I tell you, I love the VA. I didn't always go to the VA. And when I started, I was like, this is great. This is like my Walmart. It's a one-stop shop, and I'm happy. I don't see too many people going in Walmart and coming out unhappy. If you come out unhappy, you didn't stop to take your picture, you didn't make roses, or you might have gone down the aisle that Al was located, and we try to stay away from Al.
But here's my whole thing. I think about the VA, and I think anything. You're going to have people who are never going to be happy about anything that you do, because you hear a lot of complaints, but then, what you try to do is get people to understand everywhere you go, things happen. Mistakes happen. People don't get something that they're supposed to get, some type of care, or their records might have gotten lost or anything. So, this is anywhere. And I think every time you talk to one or two people here and there, their whole thing is, oh my God, I'll never go back. And why? They did something. Then my whole thing is go to a civilian facility and see if there's anything that you're going to get that much better than what you're going to get here. And like I say, when we say about being advocates of the VA, it's not like the VA is saying anything to us about, hey, promote us. No, my whole thing is we're all about vets. We're all about the military. We're all about our brothers and sisters who served and who are still serving. My thing is, if you're going to go someplace and you're going to be treated, go someplace that, is there for you. And to me, the VA is that place to go. Nothing is perfect. I mean, show me the perfect family. Show me the perfect anything. And then, you could say, all right, there's something perfect. But there's always going to be some type of problem going. But that's why at the VA, let's say even if you have a doctor and you and the doctor don't get along or you don't like the service, patient advocacy. You can at least say, hey, I don't want to go to this doctor anymore. Someone listens to you.
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, you have to be kind of like, the person who takes care of themselves. Yeah. We have programs, and I think these programs that are available to us, people need to know about them. This, to me, is one of the best programs going because not only does it take care of one or two things, it takes care of a whole myriad of things. And I mean, you don't have to worry about coming in, spending all your money and traveling all over the place, wasting time, where you can just, go on your computer or whatever device that you have, and it's there for you.
You know what a lot of outside doctors are doing that the VA has been doing and that I really like? The VA, you have a medication, if the doctor prescribed Tylenol, he says, okay, I've entered your prescription for you. You go to the phone, you pick up the phone, hi, this is Joanne McDonald. I have some prescription. By the time I get to the pharmacy, it's there. I'm like, oh my God, this one-stop shop is really becoming to look, a lot like Christmas. Really, I think you can just utilize all the benefits that the VA have in one day.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The other thing that I just thought about this. There was a thing on TV this morning, and it was talking about messages that are left to doctors, and doctors getting back to patients. And My Healthy Vet, if you really look at it, cuts out all of that. Because, when you leave a recorded message, hey, this is John Smith, and I need you to get back to me. As the doctor doesn't get back to you, okay, the doctor, well, I didn't get your message. My Healthy Vet cuts out all of that.
and the My Healthy, we've even refined it to the point where the patient sends the secure message to their team, and it's named for the doctor. But the nurses actually triage the message. Mm-hmm. And if that needs to go to let's say it has to do with a medication interaction problem, then the nurse would say, okay, that goes to the pharmacist. Or if it's a reorder, then the doctor's got to do that. The point is, it goes to the individual that it needs to go to, so that you get immediate. You don't have to. It's not passed on from one person to the other. It goes right to the individual that's going to solve your problem, answer your question, or whatever it is you need.
Well, listen. We're running out of time, and we're almost at the very end. Goose, one more time, please give out that website.
Okay,
and,
you bet.
Any information that anyone needs if they need to contact you or anyone else.
I will. The website is www.myhealth, one word again, .va.gov. Now, you can get a hold of Josh or I. We'd love to talk to you, answer your questions. We can always help. You would dial the main number at the hospital, which is 813-972-2000. And then my extension is 4107. And Josh, you're 2985.
That's correct.
Again, I truly thank you guys. I apologize for reporting a little late, but I was where I was supposed to be, at the VA.
There you go.
So I thank you guys for all you do to help us veterans, to get information out, and we will continue to push forward to make sure that our veterans out there utilize the VA. That's what you're there for. I've never heard anyone want to be used but the VA. Use me. So we're going to make sure that we continue to encourage our veterans to come to the VA, get the help that's needed, seek the medical attention that's there for them. Thanks for all you do. May God bless you. May God bless America. And Al, I won't forget you.
Well, thank you. You sound like my wife. Well, okay. And thank you all for tuning in, and have a wonderful afternoon.
This is a song for the warrior. Na 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 na. God bless the warrior. Na 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 na. This is a song for the warrior. He's a warrior. He runs to the fight. A warrior. He stands with all his might. Warrior. He's a warrior.
Thank you for tuning in to TalkWad.com, the world's fastest growing internet radio network. Please check out all the other great shows on www.talkwad.com.